My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for High Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at High Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. High Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
On today's show, we head to Sydney Dragway as the wildest nitro-burning funny cars go head-to-head in the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Cars, and we featured the opening round from 2016. Then we wind the clock back to last season's action-packed final round of the High Tech Drift All-Star Series from the Sydney Motorsport Park Figure 8 Circuit. And later we continue our 2017 retrospective with highlights from round 2 of the Shannon's Nationals at Phillip Island, featuring Formula 4 and Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. This is Speedweek.
You were shot out of a cannon while there was an earthquake, while being on fire, you're probably pretty close.
Awesome machines, man. You cannot describe what happens when you hit that throttle. It's unbelievable.
They are a handful. You've got to be on your game with them.
There's not a certain word you can put on it except for just awesome, brilliant, loud.
When you strap into one of these, your whole world changes. They start the car up and you feel your whole body vibrating.
You know, once that body comes down around you and that noise sort of goes from loud to dull, it's just, you're in a different world.
It's kind of like the Gremlins. They were really cute and cuddly until you added water. Well, that's what Nitro is.
It's just evil. You stand on the throttle and just all hell breaks loose.
Bam on the pedal, your vision gets impaired and then it all starts to happen.
Pure violence just happens in front of you. Things start flashing by, you're turning left, you're turning right, you're trying to keep it in the middle of the lane.
As soon as the wheels touch the ground, it's just a constant battle to keep it in the middle of the track, keep it in the grooves.
They go left, they go right, they just don't go straight.
Really got to wrestle these cars to get them to go straight.
4,000 horsepower Nitro engine that wants to throw you out of the car, and it wants to go any way but straight.
It's a wild sensation. Do I like riding the bull? Jumping on the bull, smacking it on the backside and hanging on. Make sure it's an angry bullbuck too, eh?
And then when you get to a quarter of a mile in under 6 seconds and you're doing 250 mile an hour, then you immediately change from, oh my God, I got to get there first, to, oh my God, I got to stop this sucker.
I can't put into words what it's like to be shot out of a cannon at 250 mile an hour.
We're all trying to bring back entertainment.
That's what it is. It's a show. It's taking it back to the days where everyone actually enjoyed themselves.
They're all got to have character names. Kids can relate to the character names.
They're trying to get an identity, get the crowd to react and get a bit of a following.
I love being a dark horse because I'm the cowboy.
Hi everyone and welcome to Sydney Dragway for the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Cars, and we have 14 of these amazing nitro burning beasts ready to do battle down the quarter mile. This is the product of the brainchild of Wendy and Graham Cowan, and today they are getting set to take Sydney Dragway by storm for the 3rd year in succession. It's nearly time to fire these cars up on the start line, what's known as the traditional salute to the crowd. There's no better way to kick off a big nitro burning event.
Wow, what a spectacle, what a sound
14 thumping nitro-burning engines. Sydney Dragway filling with noise. Dean Neal joining me for commentary. I know you love these cars too.
Well, how can you not be excited? Red Devil, brand new car here at Sydney Dragway. Believe in this format and believe in these cars, Chad.
How good is that? The crowd love that. That is how you kick off a fantastic race meeting. But now it's time to fire these things up for real. This is the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Cars. First round of racing, and what a big name we have to kick it off.
Yeah, Rick Gorsey and Darren Morgan. Listen to the big smoky burnouts. It's the way we love it. It's all about the show. Hey, they can go hard too, but it is about the spectacle, and these cars deliver that and more. Looking forward to seeing how Darren Morgan fares here in Sydney.
I'll tell you what, he is up against a very seasoned campaigner as well. You wouldn't think that Morgan would come in as an underdog or with less experience in these cars than anyone, but amazingly, Rick Gorsey in Nitro Express has him covered for laps in these cars.
Well, driving a top fuel car is a whole world of difference to driving a funny car. They're very light in the front end, shorter wheelbase, hard to steer. You've got to be an animal manhandling these cars down the quarter mile for sure.
Now, quickly, the rules. First to the finish line gets the win. You get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a loss, no elimination. So we get to see these cars come out for all 3 rounds of racing, and we'll crown a champion at the end of the night. Morgan versus Gorsey. Morgan very sideways at half-track. The Bandit hits the half-track cones, and the winner's in the other lane. Nitro Express with a beautiful 5.80 pass to kick off the racing.
Man, oh man, how about that? Looked like he deep-staged actually looking at Darren Morgan in the Bandit there. Shake. There you go. They have been chasing that a little bit, and look at him manhandling that car, gets the brake with the right hand, really turning that butterfly steerer to try and get it back in the centre groove of the racetrack.
Goodness me, that kicked so far over. It looks like maybe it's put out a cylinder on the right-hand side as well, which would only push it further to the left. Oh, wow, plenty of shake also for Gorsey.
That's a common zone for a Chad at that half-track zone around anywhere from 400 feet to the half-track mark with these Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Cars. That's where they can strike a bit of fun. The fun zone, I guess, is where that's at for these cars. As Let's Boogie comes out, Justin Walsh, a veteran drag racer on the Flying Kiwi, or one bad one anyway.
Tough ask, this one, for one bad Kiwi. First race meeting in these cars. He has top alcohol experience from back in back in New Zealand. But a Queenslander in the other lane, Justin Walsh, knows how to drive short wheelbase cars, stepping up out of essentially blown altereds to run this beast.
Yeah, for one bad Kiwi, basically, he's had 2 test laps in this car in Sydney about 3 weeks ago. That's it. But Aaron Hambridge, he's heavily involved with this car. It's a fresh combo. He will guide and hold his hand nicely, I'm sure.
Wow, great reaction time for one bad Kiwi near the fence. Had to roll off it at the finish line, and Let's Boogie gets the win. But wow, not a bad effort, that one from one bad Kiwi.
Off the trailer and into the game. That is a nice job there. Now, often with these Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Cars, I like to shallow stages so they can really chase the ET a mile an hour. But look like Walsh got in a little deep there as we ride off board with both.
Wow, McMillan did get close, but it's Justin Walsh who takes the 3 points in the first round of racing.
Well, Aeroflow has a passion for drag racing. We have a lot of history with Sydney Dragway, and our founder, Graham Cowan, has a real passion for drag racing, and so do all the employees. We really love it. We're specialising in hose and fittings and various billet performance parts. Our specialty really is fuel systems and for carburetted and EFI vehicles, high and low pressure. We've got fuel system accessories from street cars all the way through to your full-on race cars.
First round of racing for the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Cars.
Nice, steady burnout for the General Daniel Schultz and Anthony Begley in LA Hooker. I know Aaron Hambridge particularly likes this car. He knows it's pretty full on this one. Lots of nitro pulsating out of it.
Two guys who have both raced in Top Fuel. So much so that Anthony Begley made a Top Fuel final at the Winter Nationals. He's got a little bit of help there as well. Very experienced young man there, and James Rowland helping with the tune-up on a very famous funny car, the LA Hooker. Last year was in the hands of TJ Johnson. The year before that, Ron Capps. It is a very experienced car.
It's time for points. Chase points and more points. This is a key round in this event.
Good drag race. Good old-fashioned drag race. An LA Hooker in the hands of the West Aussie takes the win, but it was a squeaker.
Man, very, very good. Speaking to Aaron Hambridge, they deliberately set the tune up pretty soft on this car in the first half of the run. I think the groove's just a little narrow at the moment. And you saw the car wander around a bit, just as we love it in the Aeroflow series. And gets the win, gets it done.
How's the attitude on the windscreen of these cars? Flexing around, they are just pure violence. As we fire up a 57 Chev with Shane Olive at the wheel, it's the Red Devil. Oh, yes.
Got to say, Chad, love this car. It's the first event with this car as well. It's a tribute car to Shane Stadfield, who used to race the Red Devil at Castlereagh, and he was a long-time friend of Graham Cowan.
Time Traveller in the other lane, the boys from far north Queensland, ready to go.
Very introverted, the Pirano clan. Not as loud and proud as these awesome Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro funny cars are, that's for sure. But this Pluger chassis, the Red Devil, beautiful car.
Oh, no, he's rolled the beams. Oh, Pirano has rolled the beams and will hand the win straight over. Whoa, as long as he doesn't touch that centre line, and he doesn't. And the Red Devil takes the win with a very handy 595.
Coming out on the left bank on that car. They were concerned they may be losing some plugs as well down track. We'll have to keep an eye on that Red Devil beast. But as you said, correctly spotted with Pirano.
Coincidentally, handed the win there on a red light was the Red Devil. So how fitting. It also looked like Pirano with a stuck throttle right at the finish line. That thing struggled to slow down. The kids have a favourite, and it's the Bumblebee.
I love talking to these guys about the process of a funny car burnout. They basically have to manhandle these machines from the get-go.
Out of Hastings in New Zealand, this is Willie White. And he has taken control of Fast Company, which was in the hands of Shane Olive at this event last year.
Yeah, as I was saying with these funny cars, I really love what is going on. On the right side of the gearbox is the accelerator. On the left side is the gearbox is the clutch. Basically, these cars leave on idle. A lot of them run a pretty basic sort of two-speed transmission, but they're doing so much in the car, they're having to butt the car into stage with the brake with their right hand.
Problems for the Kiwi, and the Bumblebee goes on through. Oh, dearie, dearie me. That has burnt up a piston or more.
I was going to say, they like to shift at about 8,500 to 9,000 RPM. I don't know if you got to that.
Oh. Just got near the fence. That went straight for the wall.
Kicked out pretty violently, didn't it?
It's not Willie's car to crash, so he decides to get out of it. Had a few stabs. Never really looked happy, did the Kiwi.
And speaking to him too, the shake situation is almost like a gorilla on your back. The more it happens, the more you expect it, the more you're willing to click off the car and save it. But, man, that Bumblebee car is a crowd favourite.
There's going to be some work to do back at the Hive for Bumblebee, because that looked nasty. The Stormtrooper now comes forward in the hands of the Lay family. And Dark Horse as well, which is fantastic to see Massinio back in this car.
Aaron Hambridge was spending a lot of time with the Dark Horse team of Paul Massinio. Again, talking about the gorilla of tyre shake on the back. This is one team that's had that coming out of the last time they ran this car in Queensland. They've come here. They really want to calm this car down over the first half of the track.
So much hype around Star Wars, it'd be fitting to see the Stormtrooper get up here.
Very cool car.
Reaction time advantage goes to the Star Wars fans, but it's the Dark Horse in a canter.
Nice, boom tish. The Stormtrooper just got out of that groove over the first 100, 200 metres on the racetrack. And the groove, it's just a very precise area on the track at the moment. You don't want to get that shiny surface, as he did there. Lost traction, started to wiggle and shake and get ugly. But a good win to this man, Paul Massidio. Very introverted, very quiet. Surprised my co-commentator, which means he's not very quiet.
Last two runners-up from the last two events here in that race.
So they're making some progress, but as we said, look at that. Wiggle, shake, got to manhandle the car. You get off that primary racing line, you tend to lose these tight funny car races.
Wow, what an exciting first round that was in the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Cars. We'll start with the good news. Rick Gorsey, Nitro Express, that thing is ready to go once again. Lowest ET and lowest reaction time, so he's going to be very hard to beat. But definitely the hardest luck out of anyone out there was Bumblebee. Massive amount of smoke and carnage across that finish line. I'm going to show you the damage. So the supercharger is off it. The supercharger is A-OK, but they did burn out a few pistons. This is the rack right here. And the worst damage one, a massive hole out the side of that piston. 3 in total that I can count that have sizable damage. Now, what would cause something like that to happen? Typically, it's a lean out inside the engine when it's getting starved of fuel. I've had a chat to the team and they confirmed that that's exactly what happened. Now, unfortunately, it's done a lot of damage inside the actual cylinder sleeves themselves. So thankfully, they've nearly got this thing ready and it should be ready for round 2 of racing.
We're here at Sydney Dragway in the far western suburbs of Sydney, out Eastern Creekway and channeling our old Triple Challenge flavour. And bring on more of this, drifting, burnouts, and of course, badass funny cars.
Well, one interested onlooker is American funny car legend Gary Densham. He's here tonight. Gary, trust you to go on a dream holiday with your wife on a cruise around New Zealand, ended up here in Sydney at the drags.
Well, how could you not come here? You know, it's a drag race. You got to be here. They're running Nitro funny cars. You got to be here. It's that simple.
You have been to Australia for many decades. Have you seen the evolution of our drag racing to get to this point here, the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Cars?
Well, I think it's great. You know, it's always been very difficult to be able to get enough professional type cars to run at any meeting. And to come out to one that's got 14 Nitro Funny Cars, that's phenomenal. Graham's always been a fantastic racer. He's loved the sport since day one. I mean, when I came over here the first time in 1976, 78, and we raced Graham in 78, 82, 84, 86. You know, we had some years we did good, some years he kicked our butts, you know. It was that simple. But he always wanted to do the best he possibly could. You know, and now he's brought it to a whole new generation, and what he's being able to do here is just phenomenal. You take a look at it, it's a world-class facility with world-class cars.
World-class cars and world-class performances. Anthony Begley, the man we call Beggs in LA Hooker, was a winner in the first round. It's time for round 2. Really important to get back up those points in this round, Chad Nalon.
If you can go through to round 3 with a couple of wins underneath you, you are a chance at taking out this whole thing as Megalomaniac comes forward. Up against the man they're all chasing here tonight, Nitro Express. This is Rick Gorsey.
Chris Stepanovic, a name well known in the Sydney parts of the world when it comes to drag racing.
Oh, me. Oh, dearie me. This is
a lot of unburned nitro methane fuel coming out of the left bank. Look at that. A top fuel car would be proud about that much nitro methane coming out. These cars running between typically 90 and 94% nitro, but a lot, too much percentile coming out of those headers for sure.
Yeah, and the Sydney Dragway track crew telling him to shut that car down, which means Nitro Express has the track to himself. This is a nice pass. This is a really nice pass. It's a 558. 415 kilometres per hour. That speed is huge. It's actually 258 miles per hour, but that is the quickest we've ever seen one of these cars go. That's why Graham and Wendy are so happy.
Well, what can you say? This is the first event they've run the air shifter. Rick Gorsey was complaining. He said, I like the old stick shifter. They've gone the air shift, and man, oh man, they've got this car absolutely smoking here in Sydney. Check out the celebration. That is mint on board now. Struck the wheelie bar a couple of times down track, but man, oh man, carried the ET in the speed with, well,
precision.
Interest.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Unbelievable pass, this one. Gee, healthy head of flames. It's something that they've worked on in the series to add a bit more pizzazz. Nitro funny cars are meant to have flames, aren't they? That one does. That was quick. Goodness me. Gorsey goes through as the man to beat in round 3, that's for sure.
The interesting thing, Rick admitted just in the lead up to this event, they had gone 259 mile an hour in testing, but that don't mean, diddly, you know what? You need to deliver it in front of the crowd, and they've done that. And here's one man that'll be snarling after that run. This is one car that Aaron Hambridge believes is every bit as capable.
Time Traveller versus LA Hooker. Now, again, you've got one guy here in Begley who's on the maximum 3 points. The Time Traveller lost in that first event, so needs to make sure that they get a win here to climb back up.
And play the spoiler, but one thing about this LA Hooker driver, he is very good in his starlight housekeeping, likes to cut a very good reaction time, very disciplined in that. He's very happy with where this car's at. They believe they can really deliver and threaten in this.
Right on cue, it's a good light. Better than Pirano's and gets the win in style. 569. That's a huge run, nearly 400 Ks. There is the man you speak of, Aaron Hambridge, just high-fiving James Rowland. They're both pretty happy with that run.
Oh, struck the wheelie bar really hard, did the LA Hooker car, but he got it back on track beautifully. On board now. What's the steering here?
Oh, okay, there we go.
Funny car, violence, excitement. That's what you get here.
Unbelievable. The conditions right now, they're perfect. Absolutely spot on.
Fantastic. Just the flame out of each bank, just a little mismatch. They're chasing a few issues with spark plugs with that car. At times, of course, when you're playing with Nitro, you are playing with insanity, pardon the pun.
Sydney local actually doesn't get a lot more local than where Shane Olive's from in Wetherill Park, and he's up against Harold Campbell in Insanity. He's a Queenslander.
Yeah, that car came via Aaron Lynch, then John Canuli. It was a Pluga chassis, as we talked about before, and GC Graham Cowan, the head honcho of the Aeroflow Rocket Industries consortium, I guess you could say. He's a big fan of them. He likes them. He can work with them. And Shane is really, really wide to have a good event here in the Red Devil car. He loves his car. He loves its potential.
Whoa, straight into tyre smoke for Insanity. And the Red Devil, backs it off at 1,000 foot. Was about to get the big song and dance going right on the finish line, but he rolls off and takes another win, though. Hey, 6 points, heading on through nicely into that final round.
Yeah, found out in the first round for the Red Devil car, they actually seized the supercharger on that car. It looked like they had an electrical issue there, but here's a little celebration, and why not? Rick Gorsey really pleased to do it for Graham Cowan and the team.
One of the coolest things about the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Car events are the two wheel stander funny cars that put on a magnificent show. This car will do 160 kilometers per hour with the front tyres 7 foot up in the air. It's truly remarkable. In the world of motorsport, there is nothing that compares to a wheel standing funny car.
The sun setting at Sydney Dragway. It's been a busy day for the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Cars. Conditions are just about perfect. We've seen some unbelievable racing. Rick Gorsey just did the quickest time ever in this round. This is round 2, and we're getting set for a rookie up against a very, very experienced man.
Yeah, Darren Morgan needs to be really razor sharp at the Christmas tree, because let me tell you, Morris McMillan, one bad Kiwi is one bad hombre off the start line cutting lights. Aaron Hambridge said he comes in with our reputation. He's already very pleased with the way he races this car. He is super aggressive, cuts good reaction times.
And you know what that tells me? He is confident, he is comfortable, and that is very important. But how will he go against an absolute Nitro superstar? Well, Morgan got that light, but gets the centre line. No, he hands the win over to Morris McMillan, who has just taken the biggest scalp of his drag racing life.
Yeah, these cars run a 3-disc top fuel style clutch. That's familiar territory for Darren Morgan. What isn't familiar is look at the front end of that car. It gets quite light. The front tyres are almost skating across the track, and you have to be super aggressive to correct the funny car, and that's the difference between that and a top fuel dragster.
On on board with Morgan, goes to shift with his right hand. He's banging the shifter and got distracted and went across the centre line. Look at him fighting with that car, so he thought it didn't change. And he's got looking down at the steering wheel. That's what's caused him to cross the centre line. Sensational.
It's a constant fight on a good run in an Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro funny car as we go with one bad Kiwi now.
This should be good.
He gets an armchair view of Morgan's shenanigans here in front of him.
Oh, man. Those parachutes from Morgan nearly went through the windshield.
No, you had it right, Chad. Parachutes. I reckon that's about right.
That was a real moment, wasn't it? Fast Company, Willie White, and the dark horse, Paul Massinio. He's got 3 points in his pocket so far, looking to continue that right now in round 2.
A contrast of cars for one of the key crew chiefs in this consortium, Aaron Hambridge, basically saying the dark horse car progressing nicely. Fast Company, they've been having some issues keeping the rear end of the car, the wheels of the car, calm enough to get this thing down the racetrack. So it's a bit of Morecambe and Wise, chalk and cheese, oil detergent, however you want to frame it up.
The dark horse is no dark horse in this race. He is the favourite. There's the win and another 3 points in the pocket for Dark Horse. 592. Warman, 401 Ks. That is 250 miles per hour right there.
One thing I'm loving is now the bigger nitro fuel pumps on these cars. You see the head of flames on both sides of the racetrack. On board with the Dark Horse, Paul Massinio. Hits hard the shifter into second gear at about that half-track zone, or the fun zone, as I like to call it, in these Aeroflow Nitro funny cars.
Wow, evident on that onboard was a small pedal, so he actually got off the accelerator there for a moment and still ran a very comfortable 5-second pass.
Yeah, a few of the guys saying they've underestimated how good the start line is and probably being a little bit conservative in the fuel, the clutch, and everything else. Daniel Schultz, I guess the general, is also somewhat a privateer, but don't worry, they bring a car that can contend for a win here at Sydney.
Time to get the Daisy Duke denim shorts out. The General is ready to go.
What, you?
No, thank you. I do love this car, though. And another driver with top fuel experience has driven for Santo Rapisada and the Lay family. Son of Rowley, this is Greg. What a history they have in Queensland drag racing.
Yeah, love this state of origin situation, I guess, between Queensland and New South Wales. The other thing for Dan Schultz, which is in his corner, he's raced and altered for a long, long time, so he understands unpredictable cars, I should say. Good lie by Lay.
Very good lie, and has to get the parachute out because he was very close to the fence, and then the General sneaks it on through to get the win line.
Greg Schultz, Dan's father, will be stoked with that going sub-6. They're creeping up on this car and doing it the right way. The fist pump, but it got awful. Ooh, a lot of clutch sparks out of the Stormtrooper. Man, it slapped that clutch together pretty aggressively. And it's amazing. Even talking to these guys, Chad, some of the guys, when the unpredictability of the clutches can really catch these cars out.
That's mainly clutch dust that you see around the driver. Talking of clutches, he's so in control, though. Just wheels it back on the brake, pulls her up, and then gives himself a nice little clap because he has just earned himself 3 points. Wow, what an effort to get this car back out on track. Full engine rebuild in an all-Queensland fight. Let's Boogie. Justin Walsh runs such a smooth operation.
Let's Boogie, let's face it, Chad is a genuine contender in this. If he can get the 3 points in this round, he will really be in the frame, but do not underestimate the Bumblebee. This car's got all the go-fast bits you need. It's only that issue of the thrash in between rounds, how ship-shaped they are to really attack the track.
Driver of Bumblebee's the youngest driver we have here. And it's going to be Let's Boogie.
5.90. It actually looked quicker than that, to be honest, visually. But the ET doesn't lie, so not sure if it nosed over it all at the top end. Let's check out on the replay.
Shane Bumblebee had those issues. Something comes away from the back of Let's Boogie at half-track. And, yeah, early shut-off.
The firing order of that car didn't look right, talking about Walsh at the top end. So there's one round to go here in Sydney.
2 rounds down and 1 to go. Everything is set up beautifully here at Sydney Dragway. I want to update you on the condition of 2 cars. The first one is Megalomaniac, had that fuel issue, raw fuel pumping out of its veins. The other car that had a big problem was Darren Morgan in the Bandit. Pretty obvious what happened there, went flying through the finish line, and that is what styrofoam cones look like when they go hitting a fiberglass body at 400 kilometres per hour. And the great news is all 14 cars are ready to get back out there, and that says a lot about the reliability of the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny cars. Dorsey, that was unbelievable, 5:58, and we've got 5 drivers in contention of winning this thing tonight.
Yeah, it's crazy, eh? 5 left. Yeah, that's huge for our last round. Yeah, so now it's the fastest car win for sure.
Well, it's either bang or bust at the moment. I've either got to beat him to win, or I'll end up probably 5th or 6th overall.
It's a fight now for who's going to run the quickest, who's going to be on the podium at the end of the day. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
We got this thing hopped up as well, so it's whoever gets down the other end the fastest is going to win. We're pumped. The boys have done a great job on the car. Every time this car goes to the start line, it's ready to win because I've got the best crew out there. Great to be seeing Paul in the final round, and we can both win it. 2 Mustangs, 2 Cow and family racing cars.
This is set up beautifully as the world comes down around Darren Morgan. 5 drivers in contention, but we've got to work our way there first. Oh dear, that was not a burnout from Chris Ivanovich. No.
That is for Darren Morgan, though.
That was a strong burnout. And Morgan's back. And he's up against the Megalomaniac, a car that has had issues all night long. And finally, they look like they are ready to go. They've had to borrow some parts off the Time Traveller team just to make it onto the racetrack. And they earned the spot back on the racetrack with how much work they've been doing in the pits.
Yeah, Darren Morgan, issues with the clutch, issues with the ignition, even issues with getting the tyre rotation right off the start line, talking to him.
He's having issues with going straight as well. And again it goes to the centre line. Oh, that was close. There is a timing block in the middle of the racetrack, and a 577 as this thing bucks and bounces its way down the braking zone. Wow. Did he touch it, though?
You're saying that he's finding the track's overpowering the car a lot of the time, and he gets up into a bit of a shake, but, man, he drove that hard. Did he actually collect the block? That is the question. Oh, no!
Wow.
I think it's just the force of the nitro burning out of these awesome header pipes, displacing that foam timing marker you see on board.
That was an 8,000 horsepower tightrope walk, that one. That was incredible. Got the job done. Here's Willie White, not having a great night, is the Kiwi. He's 0 from 2 so far, and he's up against the Time Traveller. And the Piranos deserve a bit of good luck right now. Or good karma for helping out opposition teams.
Travel straight, travel fast. That's what the Time Traveller's hoping for. As for Fast Company again, just trying to get it right over the first third of the run. Get it away, get it clean, get it down the other end. Get some points, get some confidence.
Whoa. Oh, we got ourselves a pedal fest. Get in. That was awesome. Sometimes when it doesn't go to plan, they can be the best racers. Fast Company gets the win.
These cars have 44 amp magnetos. They have 34-gallon fuel pumps pumping nitro through their veins. It's almost they want to back all that down just to get to the finish line, don't they? It's too much power. I need to back this thing down. Get to the finish line first. That's what the Aeroflow series is all about.
Oh, man. Had a few cracks, but experience wins out. And it's great to see Fast Company take a win at the end of the night. You know what's cool about this car? Insanity runs an old school clutch. Literally lets his foot off the clutch when the light goes green.
Like the old foot swapperino.
Yeah, that is cool.
Goodness me.
Drives it like an alcohol car. And the Stormtrooper is back for duty here.
The two things I see with this pairing,
as we check them out.
Yep. Is the wings on these cars, and the big part of it, you can get to hard track, get through that shift point, and really let the aero come into play with these cars. Then they really start to settle down and really load the rear tyres, really get some heat and speed and momentum down the track. It's getting to that point, you don't want to unload those rear tyres at or before that half-track zone with the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Car Circus.
Oh, still more problems for Insanity. Oh, no! I thought that was going to the fence.
Hey, caramba!
It's still going.
Where do you look at this series? It is so good. It is about the show. It's not just about the go, frankly. And, man, both drivers with their hands thoroughly full. Replay.
Well, this is Entertainment Plus. Smokes the tyres. Stormtrooper's got its own issues. He sees it, wants to chase him down the racetrack. There was nearly 5 crashes in the one race. That is absolute craziness. That is funny car racing.
Replay mid-track.
Man.
That was a good correction.
It's, wow, where do I start? We tried to hop it up a bit more. I don't think we put enough power in again. It shook the tyres. I did what I'd normally do and it just kept shaking. And then you just get a little bit more confident till eventually you're looking at wall and centre line and you got to give up. You got to quit somewhere.
This is the General. Daniel Schultz on a solo pass, unfortunately, as his father walks away. He was meant to be up against Bumblebee, but unfortunately Bumblebee not making it to the start line here.
A bit more head of flame out of the left bank as you look at it, but man, he's gone quicker again. They were stoked to go sub-6. There's Greg Schultz. He's doubly happy now. They've gone quicker again.
And you know why this is important as we check out this really cool onboard shot, peeking out just next to the blower. He's got 2 wins now. That'll take him up to 7 points. And he's got a pretty good ET. That might be enough to see him sneak onto the podium later.
That's the excitement of this series. It ain't over until it's completely over.
But now the heavy hitters are out. These guys are both on 2 wins. One of these men will be on the podium later tonight. One could very much win the whole deal. Need to get the win light and hope that your ET is quicker than anyone else who will end up on equal points. So you'll finish on 9 points, but so will either Rick Gorsey or Anthony Begley. So you've got to have a quick ET as well.
It's funny how there's echoes with both teams talking to the crews. They're both saying they're happy how they're leaving off the start line, but they'd like to get more boogie, more momentum, more mumbo on the top half of the runs, get a little more mile per hour. And that's going to extend to getting the win light, basically, in this race.
Big, big, big reaction time advantage. Let's Boogie sneaks on through and does it on a hole shot in the race of the night.
Massive hole shot. Look at the top end speed for Massinio. He got the top end speed, but he didn't cut the lights.
What a way to lose a race.
There's the sting in the tail. A lot of these drivers like to stage these cars really shallow because they're chasing ET. They're chasing speed. They're all quick cars. They're all awesome cars. But sometimes you can hurt for reaction time.
Also, not standing on the accelerator quick enough can hurt your reaction time, and I think that's what happened to the Dark Horse. I know you were trying to maybe find an excuse for him, but he just got plain beat. Congratulations, Justin Walsh.
Great to see 2 Cowan family racing cars, 2 Mustangs in the final. Paul, he's really starting to step up. He's getting his game sorted. We're all getting there, tuning the cars, driving the cars. Fingers crossed the 83 is good enough to get me in the top 3.
Battle continues. The Red Devil now on track, and he is also on 6 points. So, needs to win the race and go quicker than 583 to be the man to beat first place tonight.
If we're in the 5-second zone every lap, then it's anybody's race this weekend. But ideally, for the last run, if we're in the hunt for these points and for that #1 trophy, I want to try and get the boss to step on it and really have a go.
Well, he was stepping on it in round 2. He was good for a 570 looking at the incrementals, but they thought they had an ignition issue, I should say. Turns out they had a throttle linkage problem in the staging lanes before this race.
And they've had to change it just in time. Can Olive take the win and get the ET? He's on target. What's the number? He's ticked the first box. He ticks the second box. 577, new leader.
In the fray for the win here at Sydney. One bad Kiwi. The story with this has been one bad car in the sense of they keep shutting off the fuel return back to the tank. They're throwing more and more nitro at this car, and it wants more. It still leans off. Unbelievable. On board with Red Devil. Man. Carrying some heat.
How good is this for Shane Olive? He deserves to be in this position right now. Look at the roof flap. That's actually where he gets out of the car, flapping around. And he's in with a shot.
I think the black Chev's going to overtake that run. That was quick. We found a problem with one of the cables in the staging lane, so it was a mad thrash to get that cable fixed. But for the Red Devil, tribute car to my old Mandy this weekend. So thanks to Graham and Wendy and Aeroflow, Rocket, all the guys that make this possible, you know. Beautiful car to drive, this one.
And you're going to be watching now?
Definitely. We've got to see if this Chev can maybe smoke the tyres or something.
Yeah, Shane's dad, Phil, has just been been battling throat cancer, but his treatment's going well, Chad, which is great news. On to the next matchup.
Final race of the night, and it all comes down to this. Nitro Express versus LA Hooker. Oh my goodness me, this is going to be big because we have two drivers on 9 points.
Two cars with real heat.
Real possibilities. So, whoever wins this race needs to go quicker than 577 to win the entire race meeting. Doesn't get any easier to understand than that.
Aaron Hambridge a little bit concerned with LA Hooker at the moment in the sense, and James Rowland as well. They're getting the ET, but they're not getting the speeds. We're seeing 240 odd mile an hour, which is not what they're going to need to beat the Express. The Chev, as everyone calls it in the paddock. And Graham Cowan will be wide for a real big run here for Rick Gorsey.
Cool moment for James Rowland, tuning a car alongside Graham Cowan. Look at the nitro pouring out of LA Hooker.
They set the RPM at around 2,700 RPM. They almost leave on idle, but that's where the fun begins.
Can he go quicker than 577? Either car. Oh, the LA Hooker has a pedal, and it's going to be Gorsey with the win, and the time, 5:66. Game, set, match. Nitro Express gets the win.
That was fast.
That was fast. But that was fast. The reaction as Shane Olive sees his dreams go up in smoke. Graham Cowan looks typically cool, calm and collected on the start line.
Great job by Anthony Begley this weekend. Stepped out, had to backpedal the car at about 300 feet. As we go on board now with Gorsey. Looked like the flame's got a little funny towards the finish line there. Maybe just leaned off some. There you go, the discoloration of the flame went a little orange. Maybe burning a thing or two up in there. Hey, it's Nitro, it's fun. This happens.
Great drag race, side by side. Big moment for LA Hooker. Begley needed some experience to pull that one up, but it is a win going the way of Nitro Express.
Little shake there too to Beggs, and they've been chasing, they've been trying to creep up the tune-up all event.
Yeah, that felt quick. It felt quick. It was actually, I felt it was a little bit faster. I heard it starting to break loose on the track, so that's what gave it that false thing. But mate, this car's trucking. It's really, really trucking. So yeah, excellent. Aeroflow, Rocket, Wendy and Graham Cowan, mate, legends of the sport, always will be.
Yeah! Good job, boys.
I asked Rick Gorsey what he likes most about Nitro versus alcohol. He said it's just the way these cars kick up and kick on in the back half of the run. Awesome.
From burning nitro to spraying champagne, congratulations to Rick Gorsey on first place, Shane Olive on second, and Justin Walsh third place tonight. All three of those men thoroughly deserve to spray the champagne and take home the Billet Rocket trophies. Serious champagne shower, that one, for Rick Gorsey. Congratulations to Graham and Wendy Cowan on another huge race meeting here. It's Nitro Express that takes the win here in Sydney, just like it did at the inaugural event. It's been a lot of fun. The triple challenge here at Sydney Dragway has gone off. Aeroflow, Outlaw, Nitro, funny cars, always put on a show. If ever you get a chance to see them live, you have to do it.
Coming up after the break, we go back to last season's final round of the High Tech Drift All-Star Series from Sydney Motorsport Park.